I'm going to be sharing with you in this video 3 ways to fully own your power. And the reason I'm recording this video and I talk about fully owning your power is because there's been times in my life where I thought I was in my power. I thought that I was fully connected to my power, completely aligned with who I really am. But I didn't realize that I was completely lost in the wilderness. I was lost. I thought I was in my power. I had a story and I had ideas in my mind about the fact that I'm in my power, yet I was completely lost and didn't even know it. I didn't even know that I wasn't in my power, and that's a huge trap. And so it's very important in my experience to know when we are in our power and know when we are thinking we're in our power, or not even know that we're not in our power and just completely be lost. So I'm going to share with you in this video 3 ways to fully own your power, not half own your power, not 60% or 70% or 80% or 90 or even 95%, but to fully be in your power, fully be in alignment with your values, your truth, your authenticity, you creating the highest level of impact in the world that you can create, while simultaneously creating exactly what your heart and your soul really wants. Sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what happens when you are truly and fully in your power. So once again, it's going to be in this video 3 ways to fully be in your power. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video, and that's what we are going to be discussing. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So the first thing that is not, this isn't necessarily the most important aspect. We're gonna get to the more important things closer till the end of the video. So make sure that you definitely stick around till the end, because not only am I saying that because I want you to watch this whole video, but the end is going to be the most important thing, okay? So the first thing that I want to share with you is to own fully what you want. Own it fully. Own it fully. Because here's the thing. We oftentimes have these desires. I want to make this amount of money. I want this relationship. I want this. I want that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, I invite and encourage you to fully own your desires. Fully own the fact that you want to create something. Because what I find often is that we might want something, and there's so many blocks that we can experience in life. One is we feel guilt and shame for wanting these things. We shame ourselves. We guilt ourselves. We feel like I shouldn't want this thing. I should be, I shouldn't want money. Money's bad. Money's evil. I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with money other than the relationship we have to it. It is what it is. Money is just money. Now, we're not going to get into that in this video. Nonetheless, though, whatever it is that you really have a desire for, the first step to being fully in your power, not the most important step, definitely not, but one of the things that I encourage people to do, which can be a very powerful, at the very least, a stepping stone to bring you closer to what you need to experience to fully be in your power, is don't have any guilt and shame for wanting something in your life. Fully own your desires. You want more money? That's a very admirable and honorable desire. Own it fully. You want a relationship? Fully own that desire. Doesn't make you egotistical. Doesn't make you non-spiritual or anything like that. I've been at certain moments in my life where I thought that, okay, if I'm going after this money, how do I know this isn't coming from my ego? And I realized that sometimes not going after something because we're attached to some story around why this is coming from ego, that in fact is the ego. When we're attached to a story about, oh, I can't go after this money, I don't deserve abundance, I don't think I can do this, all of that stuff is ego stopping us from fully stepping into the maximum level of abundance that exists for you. The truth is that you have so many possible things that you can experience in your life, so many things to create, there's like literally infinite possibilities that exist for you that you can't even think of right now. Your heart is destined, most likely. I'm not going to talk about destiny in this video, but whether it's something you know or even things that you don't even know you want, all of that is possible for you. And if we're attached to some story in the mind around why we shouldn't want these things or why I can't have this thing, that in fact is more egotistical than fully going after the desire and owning it. Owning a desire with full consciousness and presence is the least egotistical thing a human being can do. Being attached to a story on why you can't have money, that is way more non-spiritual, so to speak. Spirituality is about stepping into your power. And if you fully own your desires, you're going to be one step closer to owning your power, guaranteed, because you came here to create. I believe life is a playground, and I believe we came here to wake up, help others wake up, but then also in the process, create a ton of fun and enjoyable things in the process. And so the second thing I want you to understand, the second way to fully own your power, not 60%, 70, 80, 100% own your power, to fully own your power, is to know your values. Know your values. What does your heart really want? I've connected with hundreds of people probably at this point. Over the last year of coaching people, while I've been in the process of coaching people one-on-one, I've probably connected with hundreds of people. I've had thousands of hours of coaching calls at this point, at the very minimum. And one of the things that I realized is that so many people have never had this question asked to them that I'm about to ask you right now, which is, what does your heart really want? Seriously, like, what is it that you really want? We go through life, not everybody, but a lot of people on the planet go through life very unconsciously, no judgment towards anybody, but unfortunately the truth is that we go through life and we never ask ourselves the question, what do I really want? What's most important to me? Like, I have people say, oh, I want this, I want that. And I get this sense sometimes, I'm like, does this, like, me as a coach, it's my job to ask these deeper questions. I'll just sit with my intelligence and I just sense like this person doesn't really want that. They want something more. There's something deeper that this person wants that they're not even conscious that they want. So I'll sit there in the coaching call and I'll say, what do you really want? Now, of course, I communicate it in a certain way. If you ever end up, for whatever reason, in a coaching call with me, you'll definitely feel this, but I'm not just like, this is a whole nother conversation. Nonetheless, though, I make it in a way where the person knows that they're safe. Nonetheless, though, that question is something that people sometimes don't fully take into consideration in their life. They don't think about that. We don't, like, sometimes we go through life and we've never had somebody ask us, and we never ask ourselves, what's really important to you? What do you really want? You say you want this, but your heart doesn't sound like it's invested in that. What do you really want? So forget what I just told you about the coaching calls. You're watching this video right now and we're not having a conversation, but me and you are connected right now. This is a connection. And I'm here to ask you a question. what do you really want? What does your heart really want? What do you truly value in your life? Because think about it like this. What I value is not necessarily what you value. You see, our energy goes exactly towards the things that are a priority in our life. So if you, in your life, for example, fully valued relationships, if you really valued like a romantic relationship above money, all your energy would go into romantic relationships. Do you know your values? Do you know that about yourself? Are you conscious, for example, that maybe you value your inner world and your peace over having a relationship? Or do you value a relationship over inner peace? Personally, I value my inner non-resistance to this present moment above anything. I will never sacrifice my connection to the source of who I really am for anything, because that is where my value system is. I desire from my heart to be connected to the source of who I am. And if I am gonna lose something to stay connected to my source, I will lose that thing, no problem, because that's my value system. But the question is, what is your value system? Do you have a similar value system to me? If so, do you know that about yourself? So I'm going on a little bit of a spiel here, but the second way to fully own your power is know exactly what your value system is. Know what's important to you. Don't just go through, and I say this in the most loving way possible. I hope you don't take this in a way that feels like I'm attacking you watching this video, but I say this from a loving perspective, but don't just go through life and assume you know what you want. What you want might be something your parents wanted for you. Have you ever really sat down with yourself and just contemplated, what do you actually want? What's most important to you? And if you know what's most important to you, are you giving all your energy to that? Are you giving a majority of your energy to the things that you find most valuable? Because some people maybe value this, yet their energy is going into all these areas. Like, oh, I really value peace. I love this. I value, being financially stable. I value doing what I love and feeling good. Yet they're giving all their attention to the job they hate and the relationships that aren't serving them. So they're saying one thing, they say they're valuing this, yet their actions are showing otherwise. And something is dictating their life in a way that they don't even know. So it's very important to be aware of what you really desire, what you really want, what's really, truly, actually important to you. And the third way to fully be in your power is to be in alignment always with who you really are. Because who you really are is the foundation of your power. And if you stuck till the video up until this point, I'm really happy to say that you got to the best part in the video, because actually your power is knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you will own what you want. When you know who you are, you will know your value system, because you're gonna have consciousness around who you actually are. And who actually are you? Are you your limitations? Are you your fears? Are you your thoughts? Who are you really? And the question is, are you in alignment with that? Because who you actually are is about showing up in a truthful way, always being honest. You ever heard of honesty is the best policy? I think that statement has a lot more spiritual wisdom than people might realize. I don't live a life of lies. I live a life being as truthful as I possibly can in each moment. Because if I live a life of lies, that's not knowing who I really am. The only way you lie to people is by lying to yourself. And if you're lying to yourself, that means you don't know who you really are. Very simple. When you know who you really are, you're not gonna be living a life based on lies. You're gonna be living a life of truth, authenticity. Francis, what does that mean to know who I really am? What do you mean exactly? Well, knowing who you really are is about having awareness of the fact that you are not whatever your mind says you are. Whatever you think of who you are, very debatable conversation. Like, is that you really, or is it a story? The short answer is that you always want to be coming up in life where you're living fearlessly. You're living fearlessly. You're living authentically. You're living truthfully. You're living honestly. You're living in alignment with your heart. Now, it can go both ways. You can do what I said above, which might lead you to know who you are, or you can say, actually, I'm going to go on a journey to investigate, who am I really? If you don't know who you are right now, that's a very deep topic that I cannot discuss in this video. Nonetheless, though, if you know who you really are, connect to your source, you'll be in your power. A different way of wording it is, be connected to the source of all wisdom, your consciousness. You want to be fully in your power? Learn how to connect with the source of who you really are. Okay? Can't discuss how to do that in this video. Okay, I have a lot of videos that talk about that. Of course, like I always say, if you want to hear me talk about this stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Would you like to hear a video of me talking about how to connect with the source of who you really are? I mean, that's what this whole channel, this whole channel is about doing that. Every video I post is bringing you closer to who you are. So any video on this channel is going to bring you closer to that. But nonetheless, though, we're not going to go in depth here. So being in your power, just to conclude this video, is ultimately a journey to the self, the higher self, the source of who you really are. Being connected to love, actual love, not attachment to people and attachment to things. That's not love, that's attachment. Actual love. Love where you are completely in alignment with what's best for you and what's best for the entire planet. The entire planet. The whole planet will benefit from you being in your power. The whole planet will benefit from you owning your desires. The whole planet will benefit from you stepping into your power. So the best thing you can do for yourself in the world is know who you really are. Show up in connection with your source. Show up in alignment with who you actually are. And again, who you are is the source. It's consciousness. It's that sense of you knowing that you're not your limitations and you never were to begin with. So if you can incorporate these three things in your life, you're going to find that all the things you want happen magically. You don't have to force it. You're doing work, you're uncomfortable, but you're on the path of least resistance because you're not fighting life anymore. You're still going to be uncomfortable. You're still going to experience adversity. You're still going to experience emotions. You're still going to experience problems. But the difference is now your relationship to those things are not actually going to be a bad relationship, not good or bad, but in the sense that you're not fighting, you've shifted your perspective. So the final thing I want to share with you in this video as a bonus is the bonus to be in your power is to always know that you are not your limitation. Never live based on fear. If you have a thought that's based on fear, let me ask you this. Do you have to believe in that thought? If you live into a fear, you're not in your power. If you have a fear, but you don't believe in it, that is what it means to be in your power. If you have a thought that says, oh, I need to go do this, but I know it's not going to be good for me if I go in that direction, but you know what? I'm just going to give in to the urge and go anyways. I mean, technically, if you do that choice consciously, you're still in your power. But if you do it from an unconscious place and you don't even know that you're sucked into your story, you don't even know, you're not even conscious that you're sucked into your limitation, that's a perfect example of living from the ego, not being in your power and being lost in the wilderness. And this is the worst case scenario, not the worst case, but it can get really bad when you have a spiritual story around why you're in your power, yet you're completely identified with your ego and there's no power there whatsoever. but you've convinced yourself that you are. That's a huge trap. That's what you call spiritual ego, but we'll get to that in another video. Nonetheless though, just to conclude this video, if you want to be in your power, always maintain awareness as much as possible that you are not your limits. You are not your fears. You are not the things telling you can't create stuff. All of that is a story, and the more that you can detach from the story and know who you actually are and maintain consciousness of that power, not an ego power, but a divine power, now your life can really actually start to get awesome. And things really start to turn and align from that space of knowing your power and fully owning it and fully stepping into it. So that is all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit to work with me one-on-one personally. And as always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.